And I packed you SPF 300 that I ordered special from Europe. You know that you're high risk when it comes to sunburns.
Yes, believe me, I know.
All I'm saying is that if you don't wear it, I'll know. I have eyes all over.
Oh my God.
And you need to keep an eye on that mole, too. I don't like the way it looks. I packed you a ruler. I want you to measure it, and if it spreads even 1 millimeter, you're on the first bus back home. I've got the dermatologist on speed dial.
Yeah, speed dial, got it.
Yo!
What's up?
Promise me that you're going to keep an eye on Derek's moles this summer.
Oh yeah, same as last year. You got it.
Oh. Anyways, your bag looks a little light. What'd you pack?
Toilet paper and water.
Oh, I like it. The Buzz McAllister special.
Yep. Anyways, it's about that time. You ready to hop on the bus and get this summer started?
I mean, not really, man. That's a long ride, and my mom made me leave my Game Boy at home. How are we even gonna pass the time?
Well, I've got my Walkman here. Feel like hitting up the summer playlist?
Ooh, I like where your head's at.
Boys, have a great trip.
Or the cat dressed in white will scare you both to death down at the drive-in. A big buttered popcorn in an extra large Coke. A few chili dogs and man, I'm going broke down at the drive-in. Yeah, at the drive-in. We love the drive-in.
Alright, I'm gonna take a seat right here. Welcome, everybody, and thanks for listening to the Leftover Pizza Podcast.
Yes, indeed. Boy, I'm so happy to be here, Grimy.
How about that Beach Boys track?
You know, I had almost forgot that was our song of the summer last year, but I see why. It's a good one. It's still catchy as ever. It was a good theme for our last year's all of our summer activities, I think.
Absolutely, and I hope that you're all here, ready to listen to some more tunes. We've got a nice spread. I think these ones are all going to hit pretty nicely across this trip that we got going on here.
Yeah, absolutely. I have one question for you, Grimy.
What's that?
Who are you talking to?
Our audience.
We're on a bus. It's the two of us. We're the only two kids at the back of this bus because we smell so bad. Everybody else is like 4 seats ahead of us. Nobody is listening to you right now. It's just me.
Oh, well, I mean, do you want some of this SPF 40, or you're probably going to need this when we
not
arrive?
Yet.
No?
Yeah, when we get there.
Okay.
I hate the feel of sunscreen on my skin. You know this. It's so greasy and disgusting. It smells incredible. I'm not going to lie. I want to drink it. I might drink it. But that's neither here nor there. I don't want it on me when we're inside of a bus, okay? We'll worry about it once I get in direct rays, okay?
Okay, we'll worry about the SPF later. Let's hit the first song. Do you want to play one, or do you want me to play one first?
Why don't you play one?
So I wanted to start off with a really nice, easygoing song, Cruel Summer by Bananarama.
Grimy, you predictable slut. I just have to get that out of the way right up front. I'm not saying it's a bad pick. It's actually an incredible pick, but
It's just very on the nose.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know how we've made it into 3 of these playlists before this popped up and before it reared its head.
Well, you pick and choose. You don't want to be too obvious. And this, it's probably an obvious one. So I think the first time I actually heard this song was in The Karate Kid, I believe. I also think that I heard it on like a compilation CD commercial, and they actually showed the music video for this every once in a while.
Oh, kind of like the old Time Life.
Yes.
Here's our CD set, and
Yeah.
we're going to play like the Michael McDonald boat song over and over again.
That's right.
One of those, yeah,
Mhm.
right.
And it also appears in, I don't know if you've seen this yet, but The Summer of '84.
Oh, I think that we watched that right when I first met you. I have a vague recollection of purchasing a Shudder account back when it was not frowned upon to share passwords. And I think that was like one of the first that we kind of watched and discussed. I don't remember anything about it though.
No? Oh man, it's a good one. Perfect summer vibes. Watch it if you haven't. But anyways, this song points a very, very different view of the summer, focuses on this experience of a young girl who's new to this big city. It's blazing hot in the middle of summer and she's alone, which makes the summer that much more depressing because she has no one to spend it with. I can't relate to a lot of the aloneness, but I can relate to a lot of the hot and heat and sweating my ass off-ness.
Yes, the assness of it all.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Butt sweat.
Yeah, I mean, sure, I suppose it could be sad to be alone, but in the summer, is it really? I mean, listen, doesn't matter how much you love someone. You share a bed with somebody in the middle of a heat wave at the end of July, you're ready to consider committing murder. I just, I can't relate on that level. I don't think that it's the worst thing in the world sometimes.
You mean you don't want to spend time with people on the hot summer streets and the pavements are burning you?
Only if we're all not wearing shoes. Let's just stand on that blacktop, just nothing on the bottom of our feet, just grilling ourselves. That's how I like to spend my summers.
And then you could just rob people if you open doors with your feet.
Uh-huh. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what you're talking about.
No? Okay.
We're just gonna move on. We're gonna keep rolling. How about that music video, Crimey?
Oh, we'll get to there. But at the same time, it's a fairly upbeat song. It feels genuinely happy, which makes it like the perfect song for me. I love this sort of juxtaposition, this sort of happy but dramatic undertone.
Well, definitely, if you're describing it that way, it reminds me of a song from last year, that song by the Kinks, Come Dancing, where it's about effectively his sister dying on a dance floor, but it is the boppinest upbeat song that you've ever heard in your life. Or how about that Third Eye Blind one about the girl doing crystal meth? Oh
yeah,
a lot of great upbeat songs, and this is definitely one of them, about maybe a little bit of sad or macabre, depressing subject matter. This is a quick thing, but do you ever feel like this song is the summer equivalent to the Waitress's Christmas wrapping? Just in terms of tone and style.
I could see it. Totally see it.
Similar vibes, I feel like. One is writing about Christmas, one is writing about the summer. They both seem unenthused about the time of year, but it's upbeat and bright and poppy. It's good stuff.
It is. Those are the songs that are right for me, man. So how about the music video?
You know what stood out to me, Grimy, is that this music video, I don't want to say something bold and controversial, but I'm going to. I think that Mario Kart based their whole shtick off of this music video, because at one point, the girls, who are inexplicably all working at a garage fixing up cars, they get into a police chase, and they're throwing banana peels behind them to try to get the cops off their ass. So, did Nintendo steal this? They might have. The one last thing that I want to mention about this music video, I did mention it briefly just a minute ago, but they are, the girls of the band, all working at a Texaco gas station for some reason. Not only are they supposedly fixing cars, but they're cleaning cars. And I'm assuming pumping gas, which they show a sign as $1.48 a gallon, if you can wrap your mind around that price. But something struck me as I was watching them repair vehicles. I said, they're doing a lot more singing than they are fixing this car. They should drop this whole mechanic act and just start a band already. Just start a band. Oh, man. Do you love the deepest voice in the world, or am I alone in that? Because the rest of the world seems to hate this man's voice, Crimey.
Really? They hate it? This guy's got a negative reaction to his singing?
Yeah, people really are not a fan of the Crash Test Dummies, which is what we were just listening to. And specifically, not their hit, the but Afternoons and Coffee Spoons. That's what we were just listening to. Man, I have been hooked on this song for months. And you know, it was kind of the dead of winter, pretty gross, pretty blah outside. And this to me just felt like springtime, early summer. Just every time I put it on, I kind of wanted to be sitting in a coffee shop, sipping a cappuccino, letting this just blast in my face, you know? Don't clip that. If you're listening at home, don't take that and clip that.
He's like, pause,
and use it against me. He said blast in my face.
Do these people hate Pearl Jam and Hootie and the Blowfish as well? Or like, are we just writing those bands off too? Because this kind of sounds like if those two bands had a baby, this would be the outcome.
Oh, you know, that's actually a really good way to think of the Crash Test Dummies, because yeah, they are somewhere in the middle of Hootie and the Blowfish and in Pearl Jam. They're sort of like Pearl Blow in the Hootie Jam.
Hootie
Pearl
and the
Blow
Blow
and
Jam.
Hootie Jam. That's even better than me. You should get a job doing that. You're very good at coming up with names.
That's what I do.
Good for you.
I do that. No. I put things in boxes. But yeah, this song, what a great pick, man. I love it. The only thing I love more than it is the music video. It kind of feels like that I'm watching an episode of Scrubs for some reason.
Yeah, definitely. So the whole music video takes place in a hospital for really no reason. Like the lead singer, Brad Roberts, is getting some sort of procedure, and all of the doctors and the surgeons in the room are his bandmates. So I don't really know that they're very qualified to perform whatever procedure he's getting. At least a catheter goes in him. I mean, then there's at one point they're like sawing at him. So I don't know if they're like chopping something off or opening something up, but he's really going through it. And I have to say, it's a very unconventional hospital that he's in, because he is awake throughout this whole procedure, singing, mind you. He is singing his heart out. So they didn't put him fully under, which I don't understand. That seems kind of against regulation and standard practice. But
yeah. Well, I mean, there's a reason why Death's standing there, like, watching over him. They're like, yeah, these guys are going to fuck up. But he's mine.
That is another big part of it. Death is there, and he is looming over him. And, you know, I couldn't really see because the video is really old and really blurry at this point. But could have been Norm Macdonald under that cloak, you know? It could have been Norm waiting to take him to the underworld. I don't know. But yeah, This is like a super weird, very upbeat, very energetic and goofy music video, not to be taken seriously. Case in point, at one moment in the video, the whole band is playing. There's a guy with a harmonica that I'm sure you can hear throughout the song, and he is just jamming on that harmonica. Okay, he's putting Billy Joel to shame with the amount of work he's putting into that harmonica throughout this song.
He's throwing down.
While that guy is jamming out on a harmonica, behind him, there's a whole conga line of people in scrubs and Johnnies who should definitely not be out of the hospital. These are sick individuals, and they let them out for whatever reason on a beautiful day. I will give them that. And they are just conga lining, kicking their legs, a lot of touching. That can't be, you know, HIPAA compliant, I would imagine. Too much grinding and touching there. And then at another point, we see them on the helipad and a whole bunch of doctors with people in wheelchairs, and they're just making circles, kind of like the synchronized swimming, but if you did it at a hospital and there was no pool.
Holy shit.
I guess, you know, what I'll end on, aside from the fact that I just want to say one more time, I love the Crash Test Dummies. is the thing that I love about this band, that the fact that they do not take themselves seriously. But not in a comedic way. Like, it's funny, but they're not trying to be comedians about it like Weird Al. You can tell their whole vibe, and maybe that's what people partially don't like about them. They're so unserious that before they were known as the Crash Test Dummies, initially they were just a bar band. So that should tell you everything that you need to know, is that they progressed past bar band into having like one of the biggest hits of the 90s, which is crazy, and I'm sure they couldn't wrap their minds around it. But they were originally known as Bad Brad Roberts and the St. James Rhythm Pigs. So
wow.
Yeah.
So, just say that one more time. I fucking missed like half of it.
Bad Brad Roberts and
Brad
the St. James Rhythm Pigs.
Oh my God, that doesn't roll off the tongue at all. Holy shit.
But, they got rid of that name and they became the Crash Test Dummies. So, Grimy,
much better.
That name is open. I say you change your name to Brad Roberts. I'll be your little rhythm pig, and let's get this ball rolling.
So I'm going to call this one the anti-Bananarama. You can listen to this after, because this is very upbeat and a very happy song in both music and lyrical content. And that is Coom Ukulele by J.D. Nicholas. I believe I'm saying that right.
Yeah, I think you're saying that right. Yeah, you're right. It's a very, very incredibly upbeat song that just so happens to score a movie about a dead guy
Yeah.
being toted around and his corpse is being abused.
Yeah.
There's nothing fucked up or sad about that. Tell you
Nothing weird
what.
about it. Nothing at all. Yes, this is featured in Weekend of Bernie's too. Last year, I think I mentioned a song, or maybe it was the year before, I mentioned one from the first Weekend of Bernie's, and I felt like, it's summertime. It's a perfect opportunity to be able to talk about Weekend of Bernie's too. I couldn't really find any information about this one, just like last time. I could have literally picked any track from either of these movies to put on a summer playlist. This one, I feel like, catches the vibe of the second movie pretty well, and that's why I chose it.
So, again, I think we talked about this maybe last year or the year before when we were talking about Weekend at Bernie's, and it still rings true that I have never seen the sequel to Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh,
I
man.
still have not put it on.
That was going to be one of my questions, is if you prefer the first one or the second one, because a lot of people really love the first one, a lot of people really love the second one, a lot of people hate both of them.
And I find that weird. I haven't gone out of my way to watch the sequel yet. I think mainly because I've always just assumed that it's probably some shitty 80s sequel, some quick cash grab to capitalize on the popularity. But just speaking from my experience with the first one, I can't believe that people don't like that movie. It's just so fun and so goofy and just a good time. Like, how do you not have a good time with that movie?
I kind of give the edge to the second one, just because it's a little bit more fucked up. And you think in the first one, they're playing around with a dead body, pretending he's still alive so that they can spend time at his summer house. This one might be worse. So
listen, I actually have questions about this movie because there was, as far as I can tell, no official music video for this song. But what some beautiful, wonderful human did on YouTube is take clips from the second movie and cut it together to this song for a sort of pseudo music video.
Sure.
And some of the clips that I've seen of this sequel, you are not wrong at all. They are absolutely abusing the fuck out of Bernie in his body in this one. There is one clip that they showed, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing, where I'm assuming he gets like maybe caught up in the string of a kite or something, or maybe like a parasail or something like that. Yeah. And his corpse hits a palm tree at a remarkable rate of speed and just like folds around the palm tree.
Oh yeah, and just grinds it.
Ooh, it was like gnarly. Like he didn't bleed or anything, at least not in the clip I saw, but it was gnarly, and they did a good job because he didn't look like a dummy in that scene. Like it looked like a person getting flung against that tree. So, if that's kind of what the whole movie's going for, yeah, definitely. It seems like it's got an edge to it.
Even better than what you're thinking. So I'm going to give away a little bit of the plot. The whole point of the movie is there's a couple of guys and like a voodoo shaman woman. All right, they're after this treasure that's buried in the middle of the ocean, wherever this place is. Their plan is to put like a voodoo spell on Bernie's dead corpse, okay? And it kind of like, he's officially a zombie. So he's Zombie Bernie, or Zombernie is what I'm going to call him from now on, Zombernie.
Okay.
Anytime the music plays, his dead corpse gets up and starts walking towards this treasure that's buried out in the middle of the ocean.
Okay, and that explains it, because I saw clips of him walking and I was going to ask you, what's the deal with that? Is there some sort of exoskeleton that they attached to him and he's remote controlled? No, he's Zombernie.
He's Zombernie. I just love Zombernie.
Wow. Actually, that is interesting. Like now I'm very interested in seeing this movie.
You have to watch this. Definitely make it part of your summer to-do list this year. It's so good.
So if there's a voodoo element and a zombie element, and we're taking place on what looks to be like a Caribbean island or something, how close are we getting to Scooby-Doo live action vibes here?
I could see it. I could totally see it. I mean, we just throw a dog in the plot, and I guess we were there pretty much. A couple of jinkies.
So, if I suspend my knowledge of the time difference, early 2000s versus late 80s, like if I just pretend that it's happening at the same time, this could be a story that's happening at the same time on the same island with the Scooby-Doo gang, just off screen.
Yeah, it's canon.
Well, ooh, I like it. You're selling me. I'm selling myself, but you're helping me sell myself. Good time for everyone. Dun, 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 dun. I agree. It is time for a happy day, Grimy. We are having a happy day. I think we're doing pretty good so far on this trip. Nobody's thrown up. Nobody's peed their pants. It's as good as you can ask for on a bus trip. I'd say.
So I'm feeling like there's 364 days till next year's hockey tryouts, and I got to toughen up.
You do. Hey, come over here. I got a baseball in my backpack. I'll just start chucking it at you. I think that'll work for you.
Oh yeah,
man. So what you were just listening to, despite what I might have thought a few weeks ago, is not "When I Think of You" by Janet Jackson. It is not that song. Instead, we're listening to "Happy Day" by Uncanny Alliance. I heard that Janet Jackson song that I just mentioned, and when I heard it, I was like, oh, that's that song from Happy Gilmore when he's playing mini golf and he's trying to hone his putting skills. No, it's not. Janet Jackson is not featured anywhere in that movie to my knowledge. Instead, what I was hearing in the background, and I've been hearing for close to 30 years now, is Happy Day by Uncanny Alliance. They were a house music duo based in New York City, and they basically only had two minor-ish hits before falling off the face of the earth. And then they also had this, and that was pretty much it for them.
This feels like a very deep cut. This song, it feels like it's ingrained in a lot of people's minds. If you're a fan of anything Adam Sandler does, and you've successfully watched Happy Gilmore, as many times as either of us probably have, this song's there, but only when you hear it again are you like, hey, this is that song from Happy Gilmore where he beats the fuck out of the clown.
It's interesting because it is one of those songs that's sort of lived in the back of my mind like all of my life, if I'm being honest.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure everybody else is. It's one of those things where you hear it and you associate it with that scene, but it's not a hit. It's not a band that you know, so nobody goes and seeks it out. And I mean, case in point, we have our Spotify summer playlist. This song is not going to be on there because Uncanny Alliance, as far as I can tell, especially this song, is not streaming on any, music streaming platforms. So this is almost lost media because it exists on YouTube, but you have to know about the song, about the artist. You have to make that connection. You have to want to push past just listening to it for a minute in Happy Gilmore to really even know that this song or this band exists. So it kind of lives in this weird little pocket of it's there, but you have to go hunting for it.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised you found it, honestly. That's just unheard of. Who knows about these people? What else did they even do?
I just want to quickly put this scene from Happy Gilmore under a microscope because, as we mentioned, it's playing while he's in Happy Land mini golf, doing some training with Chubbs. When was the last time you actually really paid attention during that scene, Grimy?
Oh, man, I don't know that I've ever actually paid attention to the scene other than what, Adam Sandler's doing.
Yeah, that's the problem is that I was the same way.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of was like, all right, let's focus on the jokes. Let's focus on Chubbs.
Yeah.
Next time, I need you to go back. I need you to just really pay attention when this scene comes on because there are some very interesting theming elements at this mini golf course, which I don't even think it's a real mini golf course. I think they just set dressed it. So this might have just been a little set they made for the movie. And that being said, the production designer was going crazy and nobody stopped this person. Okay. In this mini golf course, what we see, aside from carnival rides in the background, like a full-blown carnival happening in the background, at one point we see a penguin band, like a life-size, king penguins.
Oh, wow.
They're huge, and they're all playing in a band together. So that's one hole. At another hole, this is on the same hole, Grimy. I want you to make sure that you're understanding that there are tiki totems and giant toy soldiers at the same hole. Just the weirdest marriage possible for a themed mini golf course. If we spin around, which they do, directly behind that hole, there's just a nondescript giant Caucasian man head on the golf course for some reason. Also noticed a giant, and I mean when I say giant, life-sized, a bejeweled elephant at one point. Of course, we've got the iconic clown head where he goes and he beats the shit out of it and knocks its nose off. And finally, in the background, I noticed a pretty decently sized lighthouse with a big happy sun glued to the front of it. Just giant sun glued to a lighthouse. So there's a lot happening.
There's a lot going on. Now, the one where I think he has a hole in one and there's is it a building? It topples over.
Yeah, so it's an earthquake. So it's made to look like the Hollywood Hills, and the whole course basically collapses. So the building collapses in front of him, and all the buildings fall over and they split. So his path to the hole is just obstructed, and he has to hit it up into the Hollywood Hills, and the ball kind of Pee-wee's Playhouses its way down into the hole itself. Yeah.
That's the only one I remember. That's it.
Yeah. Well, that is the one that they spend the most time aside from the clown. But yeah, next time you watch that movie, take note of what's actually happening at the mini golf course. It's a little crazy. Now, going back to the song very briefly, because I'm just about done with it. The only thing I wanted to say, obviously, a bop, very catchy. Just happy day for a reason. It gets my spirits up, man. My head starts going, my feet start tapping. It's
It's good, man. It kind of has
puts me in a
this like,
trance.
yeah, almost Chumbawamba like, where it's kind of repetitive, and it's just easy to get lost into. If it comes on when you're at a bar, you're bopping to it. You're not sitting still.
Absolutely. And so I hope that you'll go and you'll listen to this full song, not only for the fact that it's kind of a bop and something to, get your head moving up and down, but I want you to listen. This song came out in 1994, so a few years after Home Alone. And there's one specific part in Home Alone where Harry is real pissed at Kevin because Kevin hits him. I don't know if it's when Kevin burns his hand or if he shoots him in the crotch with the BB gun, whatever it is. But there's one part that's always stuck with me where Harry just starts murmuring. He does the and multiple times in this song, she starts doing that. Like during the verse, it sounds like she just couldn't come up with any more lyrics. And there's only like 4 lyrics in this to begin with, like 4 words that they use. So the fact that she starts doing a Harry multiple times, I'm not saying it's definite, but I'd like to believe that it's an homage to Home Alone. So it's real good. Maybe there's a little Harry cameo in this song. Okay, Grammy.
It's time to put hard times behind, get all the bad things off your mind. He's feeling good, she's feeling good, we're feeling good, yeah. Just hanging out, just having fun, we're number one. Just hanging out, just having fun. I'm a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude, we're all dudes, hey. I'm a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude, we're all dudes, hey. There's nothing better than your friends, there's no problem, you can't win. Someone that's always got your back, not caring about this or that. Just hanging out.
Who the fuck doesn't like We're All Dudes by Kel and Less Than Jake from the hit movie Good Burger?
It was a hit.
It was
It was a hit in my house, I'll tell you that. We watched this like every other day, I swear to God. Like every summer, just Good Burger, Good Burger,
Oh,
Good
man.
Burger.
Good Burger was one of my all-time favorite movies. It still is one of my all-time favorite summery kind of movies to put in. Just in any time of the year, really. I just love this movie. When I was growing up, Nickelodeon was absolutely at the top of my list. Movies like Harriet the Spy, Snow Day, stuff like that. I was watching it continuously on repeat, but Good Burger was at the very top. Anything that Keenan and Kel was into, all that. Their show, Keenan and Kel, like I was just a diehard fan. It just made sense that Good Burger meant so much to me, I guess. I remember watching this and thinking kind of how bad it would suck to have to be in Dexter's position and like running into, Sinbad's car of all people for one, and having to fix it and spend your entire summer vacation having to fix someone else's bullshit car.
Ow.
Ow, ow, ow.
Get a summer job.
And he's like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
That's okay. We'll get this fixed up. We'll call your mom. Everything will be good.
Everything will be all right.
No.
License and registration, please. You're going to have to wait a minute, like a year, when they put it in my hand. Dude, it's so quotable. I love this movie.
Yeah, the thing about that movie is it's still funny. Like
it is, dude. Totally holds
it's
up.
incredible. It's incredible how well they did teenagers with like both having jokes written for them and then delivery of jokes. Like not to bash something like Drake and Josh, but I always felt that Drake and Josh really felt like they were telling jokes aimed at kids and tweens. It doesn't matter how good their delivery was. Like it just felt like that material was inherently made for younger people. Like, and it probably doesn't hold up aside, if you take your nostalgia glasses off, like something like Drake and Josh, iCarly, whatever, it might not feel as funny. Watching Good Burger, and I can say this definitively, is funny for adults as well because my parents also still get a kick out of that movie. Like the comedic performances in that movie are so good and so spot on.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know, like like a cultural moment. Like, I know that's stupid to say, but it transcended being a movie, and it became like a time capsule of the late 90s as well.
Oh, it did. Which is why I really feel like the newest one, I watched it. I didn't care for it. Oh, man, it just did not hit the same as the original. And I feel like it's just, I don't know, that vibe's just no longer there with Nickelodeon as a whole, I feel like. You know what I mean? Like, it's just gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it had its moments, the sequel. I won't deny that. Like,
Sure.
The fact that Fizz, he was like frozen for 25 years. Like, that was pretty funny. That was a good bit. Like AI robot Ed, like that was pretty funny. It had its moments, but yeah, it's like Dumb and Dumber versus Dumb and Dumber 2, you know? Like, it's fun to revisit, but it's never gonna be that big old cultural thing that it was.
Yeah.
It just ballooned past what it should have been, which was just a Nickelodeon movie. It just became like a touchstone of our childhoods.
It really did. So another thing I kind of remember watching, I remember thinking all the food looked pretty good. For some reason, the giant Mondo burgers over there give me all the triamphethol. The only thing that looked unappealing was the rubbery pickles. That was the only thing I was like, all right, we could do without them, but the rest looks pretty good.
Well, that's sound design for you. You know, they were squeaking those pickles too much. It's no good. But yeah, when at the end of the movie, when all of the Mondo burgers are exploding, like, it's clear that those are like, it's rubber beef or something, you know, made of foam.
Oh, yeah.
I would have eaten it. It looks pretty good. It looked like I wanted to just sit there and chew on it for a little while, you know. I know deep down in my heart that it's not real food, but I was willing to take that risk anyways.
Absolutely. And then we have the song. We have Less Than Jake and Kel Mitchell. This like ska anthem with Ed's just absolutely raspy voice over the top. Like, I feel like I could have used more of this, and I'm almost surprised that this didn't get like an honorable mention or something in one of the Tony Hawk games.
I don't disagree with you. It's a ska anthem that I feel like is maybe not treated as equals to something like from Goldfinger or, you know, name any other ska band that's, you know, worth their salt, Streetlight Manifesto, whatever. And it's a shame because, yeah, I get it. Like, the guy from Less Than Jake isn't singing over this hardly at all, but does he need to? Because it's so good without him. Like, they're providing the perfect background for Kel, and like, Kel's kind of ripping it up on this. I can't lie. I would like to see him front a band, if I'm being honest with you. Like a ska band of his own. I'm kind of into that idea. Even still, it doesn't have to be, you know, 18-year-old Ed. It could be like 43-year-old Ed. I'd still be down with that.
Totally. Yeah, I think the only person that's not down with that is Kurt. He wants to throw it into the grinder.
You go into the grinder. Okay, so I have a question for you, Grimy. Have you, and I just need to know if it's just me, because it might just be me, but have you also always wanted Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire to be written and recorded by Bruce Springsteen in the E Street Band instead?
Yes, 1,000 times yes. Absolutely.
Well, I've got the perfect song for you. Okay, look no further than Bleachers and Modern Girl, which we just listened to. So I don't know why I'm setting it up. You've already heard it, but you see the connection that I'm drawing here?
Oh yeah, I absolutely see the connection. Very E Streety, very Bruce Springsteen-y. It's so good. I love it, and it makes sense to me because this is. You know who this is, don't you? It's Jack Antonoff.
Yeah, it is.
Happen to know a thing or two about that guy, Derek.
It's old Jackie A. Listen, I've heard the guy's name before, okay? Like, I know who he is, technically, and I understand that he's responsible for some music that I'm not particularly interested in,
I
grimy.
was just say I had to roll the sleeves up for this one. You know that he. We're not gonna get too much into it. I don't think our fans really appreciate the banter about good old T Swizzle and perhaps Lana Del Rizzle and Lord Izzle. But yeah, he totally helped co-produce like 7 of T Swizzle's albums. I just wanted to throw that little jab in there. That was all I needed.
No. I know. I do know that. Something that I did learn recently, though, is that he was also one of the 3 members from the short-lived band Fun. It was literally like my senior year of high school, and Fun was the band. We Are Young.
Oh, okay. He was in that band. No shit.
Yeah, he was. I just found that out.
That was We Are Young was my girlfriend's, that was her graduation song. They played that. I don't know how they got away with it, but they did. But this Bleachers, I've never listened to anything other than that, with Jack Antonoff in it. So I feel kind of ashamed of myself. I should have been listening to this a lot sooner than now. The guy does some really, really great work, and not just with everybody else's stuff, but with obviously his own stuff too.
Yeah, so I mean, it started, like 10 years ago with his first big hit, I Want to Get Better. And I really did like that song, and I didn't know who this guy was. I didn't know his involvement with like all these people. I just heard the song, liked the song. He said, that's pretty good. Put him out of my mind. Then a couple years ago, he put out another song, believe it or not, with the boss himself, called Chinatown. And so that's a very, very Springsteen song. And I'm not even the biggest Bruce Springsteen fan, but I can acknowledge that the boss's hits are magnificent. And Chinatown sort of sounded like a lost Springsteen song that he just so happened to be featured on. So I thought that was pretty cool. Fast forward to trying to find some new songs for this summer, and I find out that this song got released at the tail end of last year, and I got hooked right away. Those saxophones, I was like, all right,
man.
okay, I'm in. Let me see what else is in store. And yeah, I mean, I did make a joke about how it's like Bleacher's version of We Didn't Start the Fire, because he's got this vocal thing going on where it's like ha da 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 da, and he's just listing shit off kind of the way that Billy Joel does. But yeah, it's catchy as it could possibly be. And doing a little bit more research about them, let me just read you this right off of their Wikipedia page. Their early music was heavily influenced by the late 1980s and early 1990s, plus the high school-based films of John Hughes. So that was, I guess, a driving force of inspiration, is all those 80s movies that we loved. And I was going to say, this song sounds like it could have been from the soundtrack of, like, I don't know, The Breakfast Club, or pick any other popular 80s movie.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. It just has that vibe to it. The aesthetics there, and the music video, like, it's just, it feels very of that time, for sure.
It does. Yeah, the music video is interesting because it's just a band playing in a recording space, but they made it look like it was shot on film, like an old music video, and they are all just going bonkers. Like, the guitar player is doing a funky little dance, like that sort of reminds me of, somebody from the Talking Heads, like just kind of moving and moving and moving, and I don't know, it's fun. It's just a fun song. Like, there's not a whole bunch to say here other than sometimes we just got to throw songs on that we have to talk about them on a podcast, but there's not much to say other than what a banger, what a rager. I love it.
I'm ending my part of the list with Typo Negative, Summer Breeze. The original by Seals and Crofts. A very, very peaceful and calming song, really catching the vibe of an actual summer breeze. This one, not so much. This one's a lot heavier, a lot darker, still maintaining the melody there, though.
Yeah, I mean, Seals and Croft is like how you feel when you're at a resort and you've got some time off. Summer Breeze by Typo Negative is when I'm driving in my car and the AC is not working and I'm going to work for the 8th day in a row. And it is 96 degrees outside, 100% humidity. You know,
Yeah,
this is the realistic version of Summer Breeze, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I know we keep comparing our songs to Bananarama's Cruel Summer, but if that's a happy, sad song, this is a sad, happy song.
Yeah, you know what? You've got a point there. You're playing a lot with emotions this episode. I good for you.
It's fun. I enjoy that kind of weird yin and yang kind of all-in-one song. But yeah, if you're not into much doom metal, this probably isn't going to be for you. Just an FYI. Well, we spoke a few times last year about how right around this time of the year, we start prepping for Halloween. Nowadays, Halloween starts in like July, early August for some reason.
Yeah.
This is one of them songs I can listen to during the summertime that has that vibe that doesn't also compromise the summer season. I'm not necessarily thinking, jack-o'-lanterns and bats and stuff like that. I'm still thinking about how awfully warm summer is going to be, but, it's a very realistic mindset.
Yeah, I agree with that. This is a good driving at night with the windows down in the summer song, I think, personally. You still get that moody doom and gloom spooky atmosphere if you're driving in the right place. You got to have a lot of tree overhang and your headlights are illuminating the tree overhang and making it look spooky, but you got that warm summer air just blowing in. It's still cool enough, but like you get that little kiss of summer to remind you that, we're still in the thick of it.
This is actually the perfect song to run into a fisherman and then throw him into a lake to. Pretty sure.
See, that's unrealistic because that would mean that 20-something Jennifer Love Hewitt is sitting next to me in the passenger seat. And listen, that's just never going to happen for me. So,
I almost forgot that this was like in the beginning of that movie. Perfect opener, by the way. I just wanted to say. I also want to say that I can't watch the movie the whole way through anymore because of how many times I've watched Scary Movie. And like, it's scene by scene. I'm just thinking like the Wayans brother masterpiece is just in the background of my head. And I'm like, okay, this is the part where he wakes up and is like, hey, don't worry, I'm still alive. It's fine. It kind of happens, but a little less funny.
Or more funny, depending on how you're choosing to watch that classic movie.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So I'll end on this, a little bit of trivia. This came out on the Typo Negative's hit album, Bloody Kisses, in, I want to say 1993. It sounds about right. This is not the original. The original was a lot more humor added into it, and they were going to change the name to Summer Girl. But Seals and Crofts felt the new lyrics were distasteful. I'm sure they were. I'm not sure if the original lyrics was ever put out there somewhere, if anyone knows what they were supposed to be. I'm assuming not, due to some probably getting sued involved. But I would kill to have been a fly on the wall and know what the original lyrics were. But so this resulted in them re-recording, and now we have this beautiful, dark, summery ballad. So watch out for them fishermen.
Watch out for them fishermen.
What you gonna do? Say what you gonna do?
Put a smile on your face, make the world a better place. Put a smile on your face.
What you gonna do? Say what you gonna do?
Put a smile on your face, make the world a better place. Smile on your face.
What you gonna do? Say what you gonna do?
Grimy. What you gonna do? So what you gonna do?
I'm gonna put a smile on my face. So good, man.
Man, can you believe that Smile was Vitamin C's debut single?
Talk about a fucking banger to be starting on. Like, holy shit.
This is how you introduce yourself to the world, man. That's what a good foot to start off on.
It practically like shaped 4 of my summers, I feel like, and probably a lot of other listeners as well.
Oh yeah. Well, we're working on a 5th, okay? This is going to be an integral part of your 30 summer, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, 30. Well, I just want to start off with a nice little excerpt from Wikipedia because it kind of made me laugh, but it just goes to show that, like, yeah, sometimes we don't need to overthink stuff because if we overthink, we just like lose out on beautifully simplistic yet catchy and great pieces of art. She said she had trouble coming up with the song's lyrics. On the day she wrote them, she was feeling sad about the breakup of her former band, Eve's Plum, and decided that she needed to write a happy song to move past her depression. So,
wow.
Her lyrics are literally, put a smile on your face. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I mean, hey.
It don't get any simpler than that. Yeah, wow.
It really doesn't. Well, it might get slightly simpler with Happy Day by Uncanny Alliance, but, you know, they had done that well before her, so she couldn't just copy them.
Mm. But this is a great tune, man. I'm really glad you picked it. I love the reggae vibe, and this very, very poppy reggae vibe. Something that we were really, I feel like, getting a lot during this time period, and like the very tail end of the 90s, early 2000s, with stuff like Sugar Ray, and even like No Doubt. No Doubt was huge in that. And I think actually the lady that's in this song with her appears in one of No Doubt's songs, right? Underneath It All, I believe.
Yep, you made that connection before I even could for you. Lady Saw, you're right, and she sings over No Doubt's Underneath It All, which was one of their big hits back in the day as well. Yeah. It's funny because when I was listening to this before I looked it up to see who was actually doing the reggae portion of it, I just assumed that it was Vitamin C doing a very bad accent. And I was like, man, the least she could have done is get like Shaggy to sing over this or something. And then it got me thinking, this song remixed with Shaggy vocals? I mean, I know we're about 25 years too late, but I'd still love to hear it.
Better late than never. Oh, man. What's Shaggy been up to these days? Come on.
I mean, what's Vitamin C been up to these days? Right. Nothing. They could both get together, drop a remix in a week, and I'd be down with it. That sounds like a good thing to do this summer. Why not?
Yeah, we'll call it a Sunday, and it'll happen.
Absolutely. So I don't know if you actually watched the music video to this at all.
Oh, yeah.
But,
yeah.
Ooh, it is very, like, Austin Powers. It's just got these, like, this color grading to it that is very enticing to my eyeballs. It's just a lot of like those bright yet kind of deep, like blown out colors that you'd see a lot in music videos back then, like Jamiroquai or like, I don't know, even NSYNC did it for a while, like just this rich color palette.
Yeah.
And all the while she's dancing in a music store and singing in a music store with her album all over the place, mind you. So some great self-promotion. They're like, we need to let people know that you've got a CD on the shelves. We're going to shoot it in a record store, and your CD is the only record on the shelf, by the way. But when she's not dancing in a record store, she's in this other weird room that it's just some mid-century modern decked out Austin Powers ass looking room. It looks like it's straight out of the 60s, but you know, that's like kind of what they were doing at the time. Everything was 60s back then. This has that aesthetic going on.
It really does. Yeah, it looks so good. I was trying to remember exactly where I used to hear this song from all the time, and it dawned on me that isn't this in one of those Hershey bars commercials or like a Hershey Kiss commercial or something like that?
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, we did talk about that on the last episode, how they used to just take songs, like popular pop songs, and then rework them and put them into commercials, and then people would just know the song from a commercial at a certain point. Like, they would, you know, nobody would remember the band at all, and it would just be like, oh yeah, that Venus song about the razor that they wrote for the commercial. It's like, no,
Yeah.
that was a real song before the
it was a song
razors came
before this,
along.
Yeah.
So I decided to do a little research on vitamin C because, I mean, I knew who she was at the time, but she did not stick around long. She only put out 2 albums, which I thought was kind of crazy for
Oh, it
somebody
is,
who was
man.
as big as her. Like, she definitely
Mhm.
was huge at the time. So yeah, we only got a couple albums. She did some acting in some movies. I don't know if you know this. Do you off the top of your head know what movies she starred in?
She starred in a movie.
A couple, doing some
couple?
acting here
No.
and there.
I have
Well,
no idea, no.
You were just talking about one of them. She was in Scary Movie 2.
Oh, yeah. Well, she was the voice of the. It was herself, right? Because she was playing the graduation song in the car, and it's like, "Hey, would you shut the fuck up and let me sing?"
Yeah, so she's in Scary Movie 2. And also, the greatest movie that's ever been created, conceived, filmed, distributed, Dracula 2000. She has a role in that. So, you know.
Oh, no shit.
She was on fire. And aside from that, she also got her own doll. Like, Mattel made a vitamin C doll, like kind of like a Barbie around that time.
I do remember
So
that. I remember that for sure.
She was up there, man. She was like on par with Britney Spears, at least for a little bit. Because I know Britney also got herself a Barbie or like a Barbie style doll, or a couple of them probably, which is super interesting.
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't no one, that's for sure. Graduation song. I mean, come on. Who the fuck doesn't know
Hey.
graduation song?
You know how I actually found out about Graduation Song?
How?
21 Jump Street. We went to go see that movie a few times in theaters, and I was like, what is this? What is this hit that I've never heard before? And that, I think, was my real introduction to vitamin C. Because I knew who she was when I was a kid, but like when I was in high school, I was like, oh, am I going through a vitamin C phase right now? And I did. I really did. Nobody else
nice.
understood it, but that was okay. I did.
Nice.
That was something I did for me. Okay.
Right. This was, I feel like this was everybody's graduation song after it came out for at least 5 years. And case in point, in 2007, when I graduated, it was up for debate if we were going to play this. And I mean, I wasn't part of any of this debate or anything. I just heard rumblings through the grapevine, but like, I'm really glad we didn't go with it. But I'll also say I don't remember what they went with, so it didn't matter either way. They could have played the fucking song.
I can just picture you right now, just getting up in the middle of a meeting, your class president and everybody else, debating what are we gonna choose, and you're like, okay, if we have to go with a vitamin C song, can't it just be the theme for the short from Pikachu's Vacation from Pokemon the first movie? Can we?
I mean, now you're talking. It can't be that? All right, how about Summer Breeze from Typo Negative?
There we go. And we just wrapped up the show. That's it, folks. Thanks so much for listening. I don't know who I'm talking to. We're sitting at the back of a bus.
Summer Breeze. Happy graduation, kids. Oh, the bus has stopped. Looks like we're here.
Oh my god, that went a lot quicker than I thought it would. I didn't even need a Game Boy to get myself through that ride, Grimy.
The power of music, man. And SPF 40. By the way, you want this?
No, I don't want it. And another thing, okay, I know you talked to my mom about my moles and my fair skin and everything. I'm not wearing sunscreen all summer, and I'm not reapplying it to the extent that she expects me to. Okay, so you are just gonna lie for me for the rest of the summer, and if I get more moles, I get more moles. It's not a big deal.
Just remember on Parents' Night, slather that shit on. They'll never know.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I won't get you in too much trouble. All right. All right. So I'll cover our bases. I'll wear it when I need to. But otherwise, we're here, man. We're at Camp Pizza. I am fucking ready. Let's get off this bus. Let's go wrangle us up something to eat because I'm pretty hungry, and then we can figure out something to do afterwards.
Hell yeah, another year at Camp Pizza. I heard they got all kinds of cool things planned for us, and we hope that you're here with us.
Who are you talking to? You got to stop doing that, man.
Well, just in case anybody is listening, I've got one more tune to throw down here at Camp Pizza, and it happens to be about a little person named Jason.
All right, man. You play that song for whoever you're thinking you're playing that song for. I'm gonna go pick out my bunk. I'm not taking top this year.